Welcome back and Merry Christmas. This is week 16 of the NFL in my Real Men segment. So this is the last one for you all. If you made it to the championship round, congratulations on just making it there, and we're going to try to help you win. So also, if you do have a week 17 still going in your playoffs, you can always get a hold of us on Facebook, facebook.com/BigBallsFantasyFootball, or Twitter @BigBallsFBall. We can answer your line of questions there. We can still answer your line of questions on those social media sites for the rest of the week if you have specific questions for us. But these are the picks to just help you out of who should get you a lot of points and who probably won't get you all that many points, so be careful about. So I'm going to start with my go hards. My first go hard is Matthew Stafford and Megatron. This is a package deal with these two because they both need a bounce back game. Last week they both struggled a little bit against the Vikings defense, but this is going to be their bounce back game, trust me, because they play our shitty Bears defense. Our Bears are shitty all around, but our defense is bad. They are ranked 30th this year, and they are ranked 31st versus the pass. The only part of the defense that has improved a little bit is versus the run, but they are terrible against the pass. As you can see, we are boycotting the Bears. We're wearing our Bulls and our Hawks stuff, Blackhawks over there, because our Bears have just sucked the life out of our football life this season. Week 13, when they played the Bears, Stafford went for 390 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Megatron had 11 catches for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. So both of those touchdowns that Stafford threw went to Megatron. I think they're going to have a very good day again. They are playing in Chicago, so it's going to be cold weather, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. And the Lions are playing for a playoff spot. Their record is tied with Green Bay right now, but they are one up on Green Bay because they beat them earlier in the season. So this is an important game for the Lions. The Bears basically aren't playing for anything. They have zero energy when they're on the field. So this is a game that I think the Lions are going to very easily take over. Get those two in your lineup and expect a much better game than last week. My second go hard is running back Fred Jackson of the Bills. Now, I know that CJ Spiller is active. They took him off of IR, but we aren't sure if he's going to play just yet. If he's not going to play, Fred Jackson is the guy. And even if they throw Spiller out there, I still think Fred Jackson is going to be the guy for you. I really think they're trying to save Spiller for if they maybe make the playoffs. But they are playing the Raiders, and the Raiders have given up the second most fantasy points to running backs. In week 13, Trey Mason went for 117 yards on them, had 2 rushing touchdowns. He caught 47 yards and a receiving touchdown as well. So he went crazy. Last week, Knile Davis, as we talked about, he kind of vultured Jamal a little bit. Davis had only 11 rushing yards, but he had 1 rushing touchdown. He had 70 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. So running backs are definitely getting in the end zone against these Raiders. And Jamal did have 52 rushing yards. So Oakland is struggling against running backs. Jackson has had 20 rushing attempts in 2 of the last 3 weeks. So they are definitely giving him the ball versus any of their other backs. He's been the guy, the workhorse over there. And again, this is a team that is in the playoff hunt. The Bills still have a chance to make the playoffs. Oakland, of course, has been terrible, like my Bears, all season long. They're not playing for much. They're probably playing for more pride than my Bears have right now. But Buffalo does have a chance to make the playoffs. This is an important game for them. So let's move it on to my Go Softs. My first Go Soft is tight end Owen Daniels of the Ravens. He's a guy that's been very up and down this season, but they're playing the Texans, and the Texans have only allowed tight ends 8 catches total in the last 3 weeks. So tight ends are not getting a hold of the ball against this Texan defense. And Daniels only has 474 yards and 4 touchdowns on the season. Again, he's been very inconsistent, very up and down. He's really only had a couple weeks that if you had him in your lineup, he really got you double-digit points and did much of anything. And this is a game that both teams are fighting for a playoff spot, so this is an important game for both teams. They are, however, playing in Houston, and as we know, Flacco doesn't play near as good on the road as he plays at home, so this is a game that could be a little tough for the Ravens. Offensively, I think the Ravens' defense will be good, but don't look for a lot of catches or much going on with Owen Daniels. And my last go soft for this week is any wide receiver on the Cardinals, but wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald and Michael Floyd. I'll just focus on them. They are playing the Seahawks defense, and the Seahawks defense is finally looking like the Seahawks defense of last year, who won them the Super Bowl. They are first versus the pass, and they are giving up the fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. To pile on top of it, this tough matchup for the Cardinals wide receivers, they are playing with their third-string quarterback, Ryan Lindley. This is going to be a messy, tough game. I don't think the receivers are going to do much of anything. Andre Ellington, obviously, he's been out the last couple weeks. He's out for the season, of course. They put him on IR. But so I don't know what they're going to be able to do with their running game as well. I see this being a pretty tough game for the Cardinals. And this is a situation where the Cardinals have at least clinched a playoff spot. Now, they're still trying to win the division, but they have at least clinched a playoff spot. The Seahawks are trying to clinch a playoff spot and hopefully win the division. So this is a division matchup, which typically I don't like in fantasy. This is not a good matchup for those Cardinal wide receivers. And this game is way more important to the Seahawks than the Cardinals as well. So there you go. Those are your go hard, go softs for the last week. And of course, everyone, good luck in your playoffs this week. Like I said, if you need to ask us some questions for next week or for this coming Sunday, get a hold of us on social media. And we wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff from Big Balls Fantasy Football. You're going to be able to catch us a little bit in the off season, so stay tuned because we're going to have some stuff for you in the off season as well. But that will wrap us up for the regular season, and we will post on our website how we did in the final week of our playoffs. So good night. That's all we have for you, and happy holidays.